Well, hello again. It's been a very interesting week. And the stakeholder analysis, for example, seems to have engaged a lot of you and explored some new understandings and interesting comments coming back about that. Power in particular has generated some really interesting discussions and some different points of view, and that's all very healthy. A number of you have commented on the range and scope of what we're trying to do here, and it's a point well made. But we consciously thought that what we needed to do was to talk about some of the detail of contract management, but to set it into the wider business or civil service context. And so it's a challenging course in 3 weeks, but clearly a lot of you are getting a lot out of it, and we're enjoying being part of that process overall. This week we also operated a poll on the relationships in your organisation. And while the poll is still open, there's time to report on it from your own point of view. I can give you some of the interim results at the moment. And generally this is very interesting and to me somewhat surprising. It may be biased, of course, by some of the experts from IACCM who are actively involved here, but nevertheless some of these numbers are very good. For example, 69% are working with fewer than 100 suppliers, which is really quite focused. 62% have performed spend analyses, which is a useful first step to decide where your money is going, with whom, and therefore who the important suppliers are that you should be thinking about concentrating or working with in a more cooperative way. 64% have segmented their supplier base in much the same way as we talked about in the relationship portfolio exercise or discussion. 61% have fewer than 20 suppliers, contributing 80% of the value, so they've really listened and applied these lessons. And 76% have preferred suppliers. At the moment, we haven't seen all of the detail about the text comments about what preferred means in this context, because sometimes in other examples or work that I've done before, the word preferred was used, but it didn't actually change anything. So it'll be interesting to see what this means in the different contexts. So we'll be posting or giving you more details about when all of the results of the poll are ready, and that will be early in next week. Of course, a lot of you are not internal experts, and we quite deliberately set this poll up recognising that fact. Our hope was that maybe not this week, given time pressures, but sometime you might ask these questions of your own internal experts, and in that way open up some new discussions internally. Because there's a real message here that as well, that internal relationships and internal communications are every bit and perhaps even more important than managing the external relationships and communications. So week 3 is coming. There's a lot happening. We'll be talking about judgment, about getting involved, using data, challenging assumptions, being part of the process of decision making in contracts wherever you can. And then this is really important. But we're also looking forward. We're looking forward in a variety of ways to what contract management is becoming in the ways of more importance and in the way of software support in particular. So we're going to be covering those things with some of the videos, but also in the Google Hangout, which has some really interesting speakers from both the commercial and the civil service side of our experienced group. So that's early on Thursday morning, and even if you can't make it live, it will be recorded and you can access it later. Again, more details about that will emerge in emails to you. So thanks for your contributions. It's been great reading through them. We don't react to every communication, because sometimes you get better answers from your peers than you'll get from the likes of me. But nevertheless, keep the discussions going. Take the chance to learn from each other and make the connections. And we've got another week of this to go, and then we'll talk to you again at the end of that. So enjoy, and keep interacting. Thanks very much.